Hello everyone, with version 2.0 offering 2 banners to pull from, you might ask yourself, who should I pull for? The new, hyped, overpowered character, Carlotta, or the rerun banner featuring the not so new and slightly overshadowed character, Zhezhi? Let's find out. Okay, so I already made a video on whether you should pull for Carlotta or not. It's targeted at both new players and day 1 players. If you haven't seen that already, you should check it out. Link is in the description. Now that we have addressed Carlotta, let's focus on Zhezhi. If you are planning to pull for Carlotta, you should also consider pulling for Zhezhi. To be honest, Zhezhi, as of right now, is probably one of the most valuable characters in the entire game. Here's why. Zhezhi is by far the best support for Carlotta due to her outro skill. She can buff the next character's glacial damage by 20% using her outro skill. Additionally, she functions as a sub DPS, capable of leaving marks on enemies with her ultimate skill. These marks deal damage when the enemy is attacked, effectively acting as coordinated attacks, similar to characters like Yinden or Verena. This makes her the best sub DPS for Zhezhi as well, whose 40 bar increases with coordinated attacks and, when fully stacked, deals 400% more damage with her resonance skill. A Zhezhi rotation might look like this. Swap to Zhezhi from any character and immediately use her ultimate skill. This marks the enemy and stacks coordinated attacks by simply using basic attacks, until you reach 340 stacks on Zhezhi. With 3 stacks on the 40 bar, you can cast Zhezhi's resonance skill. Since this consumes 1 stack, you'll need to perform 1 more basic attack to regain the stack. You don't even have to wait for the stack to appear on the 40 bar, because after pressing your basic attack button, you can immediately use the resonance skill. While this consumes 1 more stack, you do get an additional 1 due to the basic attack, allowing you to cast the resonance skill 2 more times. It's crucial to note, casting a resonance skill before performing a basic attack won't generate any stacks until the resonance skill instances are used. After the 3rd casting, your concerto bar should be maxed, allowing you to swap into either Carlotta or Zhezhi. In the case of Zhezhi, you can immediately spam her resonance skill button, followed by using her echo. This enables her to advance to her 3rd resonance skill stage, where Zhezhi starts to summon her dragon Ju. Then perform basic attacks until you reach the 4th stage, which is the nuke. With Zhezhi's rotation, your 40 bars should be 50 to 75% filled, or even fully stacked, allowing the nuke to deal between 200 and 400% damage. After the nuke, Zhezhi gains 1 stack that allows her to swap characters, which does trigger the other character's intro skill. So after nuking, immediately return to Zhezhi to trigger Zhezhi's intro skill, or any other character, allowing you to repeat the rotation. Alternatively, you can continuously return to Zhezhi, bypassing the healer. This method I call Infinite Nuke, involves rotating between Zhezhi for stacking and Zhezhi for nuking. For Carlotta, the rotation isn't as simple. Her kit isn't as overpowered as Zhezhi's, though she might deal slightly more damage due to Zhezhi's 20% glacial damage buff. If Carlotta's concerto takes too long to fill, consider swapping back to Zhezhi or your healer to perform their rotations until Carlotta's concerto is fully stacked. This allows smoother and faster rotations and is the most basic form of quick swapping characters. You can improve this quick swapping even further to maximize Carlotta's damage output. Even if you don't pull for Carlotta but already have Zhezhi, you should definitely pull for Zhezhi. As a sub DPS, she's more flexible team-wise compared to main DPS characters. With Carlotta and Zhezhi being the game's top damage healers, Zhezhi enables 2 teams for the Tower of Adversity. You can clear the first 3 floors with either Zhezhi or Carlotta alone. Add Zhezhi for the 4th stage, clearing both left and right towers. For the middle tower, you'll need an additional DPS and sub DPS. But with only 4 characters, Zhezhi, Carlotta, Zhezhi, and possibly Verena or Shorekeeper, you'll manage 2 towers instead of needing 6 characters. This makes Zhezhi incredibly free to play friendly. If you lack Carlotta and Zhezhi, but have resources, pulling for Zhezhi is still worth it, especially since Zhezhi will be featured in the next banner in the second half of 2.0. Even if you prefer Phoebe, Zhezhi is still a solid option. Currently there are only 2 sub DPS characters, Zhezhi and Yinden, with Zhezhi arguably the best due to her synergy with top characters like Zhezhi and Carlotta. Zhezhi is a no-brainer if you compare her with a strong main DPS like Zhezhi or Carlotta. While she's not useless without them, you'll progress faster with a strong DPS instead. Skipping a sub DPS like Zhezhi is harder to justify because there are so few. Also, consider Zhezhi's weapon. While her signature weapon is ideal, Yinden's signature weapon can work as a substitute. Besides that, there are not really any other free-to-play friendly options that come close to her signature weapon. Lastly, remember echo requirements. While double crit is optimal for all characters, DPS characters get a lot more value from a good echo set compared to sub DPS characters. That means any sub DPS character like Zhezhi or Yinlin are easier to build due to their utility and not the requirement for insanely good echo stats, since dealing damage is not their main priority. With all this in mind, will you pull for the Shy Painter or will you skip her for another character? Let me know in the comments.